Hi, I'm Anne Marie, and in this video, I'm going to share a type of grammar lesson that you can use to help your students create more sophisticated writing. Have you noticed that students often write short, choppy sentences, or the sentences always begin the same way? A really easy, surefire way to help students lift the level of their writing and make their sentence structure more complex is to teach them how to do sentence combining. We can make this activity even more engaging if we use mentor texts from well-loved read-alouds. So I'm going to combine in this, teaching you how to do sentence combining, but also to pull passages out of a read aloud and use a passage as a mentor text for this grammar lesson. So the example I have here comes from the book Goonie Bird Green. And let's just pretend that this is a book that you have read aloud to your class. Of course, it can be any book, but the sentences that I've pulled out for this on this slide come from this book here. So the three sentences are: the class was quiet, Goonie Bird began her story, Goonie Bird's story was a Monday story. Now, this is not how it was written in the book. I have uncombined these sentences into shorter sentences that have the same exact sentence structure. So what you want to do is show your students these sentences, and then, of course, it's going to be a gradual release of responsibility. The first time you do this, you're going to show them how you might combine these sentences. You want to show them that there are multiple ways that you could combine the sentences. I love to do this first as a I do, watch me as I do this, and then a we do, let's do it together. Have students turn and talk, and maybe on a whiteboard, try out writing the sentences, but talking with a partner, and then eventually having them do it on their own. The fun part of this then is the sharing that comes afterwards. So you might go around the class and have partnerships share out the sentences that they've done, maybe come and put it underneath the document camera so that everyone can see it, and then compare. Every time I've done this with students, the energy in the room is really powerful. Kids love to be able to try it out and notice what their classmates have done and notice different ways of doing it. But the final is the unveiling. You want to show them then, well, what did the author do? So in this case, the author wrote it like this. When the class was quiet, Goonie Bird began her Monday story. And then there are always some students who have done it that way, others who've done it maybe in a different way. You can really tap into the power of this lesson by taking it a step further and saying, what do we notice about how the author crafted this sentence? So this obviously is a complex sentence, and depending on the level of your students, the terminology that you use, the academic language around grammar might be different. So in this case, we want to talk about the fact that it's a complex sentence, the fact that the first part is just a clause, when the class was quiet. That's not a complete sentence that can stand on its own. The second part, Goonie Bird began her Monday story, that is a complete sentence that can stand on its own. It has a subject, it has a verb. So these are the kinds of conversations that you can have around students. And I love this activity for multiple reasons. One, it's engaging. It is using great quality literature. It's using that technique of using a mentor text and apprenticing ourselves to really good authors, and then trying to emulate that in our own writing. But it also gives us a way to do some close reading too. And we can do that close reading by then examining what the author has done. In a previous lesson, or another lesson in this playlist, I talk about how you can study what a mentor has done, a mentor author, and then copy change it. We call it walking in the author's syntax. This kind of does the opposite, where we're adding on this extra layer. So I invite you to try this and see what it does for your students. This is a great alternative to things like daily oral language or to using worksheets. So it's still getting at those same skills, but it is doing it in a way that sticks. The teaching is stickier, and it helps students transfer it into their own writing, because they're not just identifying these skills, they're actually using them and crafting their own sentences.